David and I get to help Gen Xers like myself stop worrying about retirement and start living life on their terms by teaching them how to build an automated online business working just 2 hours a day. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about those late nights and early morning regrets. This is for Gen Xers like myself. We're going to have a really kind of cool, in-depth kind of conversation tonight, and I hope that you'll enjoy this. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment at night where you just wake up and you realize, wait, do I have enough money to put away? Can I afford to do the things I want to do? You start running the numbers in your head. Will I be working till I'm 70? Like, these are honest fears that we have now, right? You start thinking about, what if something happened to me or to my spouse? What's going to happen? Well, that's what this conversation is all about. So let's start with talking about when growing up, we were taught, go to school, get a good job, work for the company, stay loyal, and you'll be set for life, right? But we know that doesn't happen anymore. Nobody told us about inflation. Nobody told us that it would explode the way it has, or that medical costs would eat up all our savings, or that we'd still be worrying about this stuff at 45, 50, and even 60 years old, right? These are honest fears, and it's not something they told us about when we were told, this is how you're going to build your life, and you're going to put money aside, and you're going to be able to retire at a good age, right? Well, that may have worked for our parents and beforehand, but it doesn't happen now, right? Did you know that 62% of Gen Xers say they've fallen behind on the retirement plan? I personally wouldn't be surprised if it's a little higher than that. The average Gen Xer's retirement savings is about $81,000. Now, that might last 2 years, if you're lucky and if you really know how to, budget your money and stuff, but there's not much to retire on. Now, the cost of living is going up. Wages are barely moving. We know this, right? And we're expecting to just figure this out, right? We're told, don't worry, you'll figure it out as you go along. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be just figuring it out. I want to have a game plan. I want to be able to go, okay, I know exactly what I need to be doing. I know how I'm going to live my life. I know where the money is going to be coming from. I know what I want to do when I retire. I know I'm going to be able to do those things. That's what I want. Probably what you want as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised in that aspect. Yes, I'm checking notes as I'm going along here, guys, but that's just the way I am. So I'm not rambling all over the place. There comes a moment when you say, this isn't working, right? Where you say, I need something different, right? For me, that moment came when I realized that I had to shift money between two accounts, just take money out of a bank account. Okay, just take it out of the ATM. There's nothing more humbling than going to the ATM and trying to take money out, realize you don't have enough money in one account. So you have to go and switch money between two different accounts just so you can take $20 out of the bank. That was one of those moments where I realized things had to change because this was not the way to live. Just barely getting by. My wife and I both had really good jobs, but at the end of the day, after bills, after expenses, right, it all adds up. And savings, had some, but it wasn't going to be enough. So for me, that was one of those things. The one thing I find that I wanted and what most Gen Xers really want is time with their family, right? That's really important. We want to make sure that we have enough time to spend with our loved ones, whether it be our kids or grandkids, it doesn't matter. It could be, parents, it can be just about anybody we call family. We want to spend more time with them. We want that freedom from a paycheck to paycheck grind, right? Because you get to a paycheck and by the end of Friday, it's like it's already gone, right? Or it's already allocated to something. There's not much left over for you. So that was one of those things, like I wanted out of that grind because it just wasn't working for me. We want the ability to travel, to give generously to the people we love, right? To the things that we believe in, whether it be church or organizations or whatever may be, fundraisers, whatever may be your thing, you want to be able to give and not think twice about it. And of course, we actually want to enjoy our retirement. the last thing you want to do in retirement is be worried about where the money's going to come from. Will I have enough money at the end of the month? Am I going to be able to pay the rent? Am I going to be able to pay the mortgage? Am I going to be able to buy food? Am I going to be able to help my kids? Those kind of things we don't want to worry about. And I get that. Like I said, I used to work 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And, I didn't want to end up doing that till I was 70 years old. That just really scared the what out of me. The thought of being stuck at a job and working a job at 65, 70 years old is not what I call fun. So I found something that let me work just 2 hours a day. Now, before I get into that, guys, I want to give you a little bit more of my backstory. When I got started in this industry, actually, I started off in the MLM and network marketing. Okay, I did that for 17 years. I had a great time doing it. I had my ups and my downs, but it allowed me to walk away from my job after 6.5 months, and I never went back to another job. The reason for that is because I made a promise that I would never go work for somebody again. I've tried over 25 different businesses in that 17 years, and I've had my ups and my downs, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But there was a lot of things that weren't working for me. I was about to step away from that and thinking about getting a job again, which really scared me. But it turned out that I got an email from a mentor of mine telling me about this digital business thing. I looked into it and was like, yep, that is definitely what I want to be doing. I love the fact that there's this digital business was going to teach me how to build an online business working just 2 hours a day. So that meant I could work around my busy schedule, which was very important to me, right? There was a plan laid out. So I was like, okay, if I follow this plan, I can do this as well. Now, this is no gimmick, right? It's a real system that shows you how to build a business around your life, which is very, very important, and not the other way around. Now, this program I've been talking about, guys, it's called the Legacy Builder Program. It teaches everyday people like you and I how to build an online business using digital products, automation, and attraction marketing. So you're never going to bother friends, family. You're never going to stop and talk to strangers. You're not going to message people on Messenger or on YouTube or anywhere else. Okay. We're going to teach you how to bring your ideal clients and customers to you, which is really important. Now, you don't need experience. You don't need to cold call, as I said, and you don't need a big following. Heck, if you don't even have a following, that's perfect. Okay. So you're good in that aspect. Again, just 2 hours a day and a commitment to learning something new. Now, guys, you have to have that commitment. Okay. This isn't the lottery. You're not going to push a button and instantly become a millionaire or anything like that. This is a commitment to learning and saying that I will succeed, right? That's what it is, in all honesty. Now, you're going to learn how to earn digital profits through 100% commission. So if you've ever been in network marketing or anything like that, guys, then you know that you can make between 25 and 50% in that industry, right? Like I said, I was there. I thought it was great. But the problem was the other half of that money was going upline. Here, there is no upline. You are in control of your business. And the best part is you really do make 100% profit in this business. Now, you get to customize website that's already built for you, so you don't need to figure out how to build a website because it's already done for you, which is, again, really nice. You have access to a community of over 50,000 people who are doing the exact same program. Now, the way I looked at it is if I can do it, you can do it. And when I was looking at this, if 50,000 people can do this, then there's no reason why I can't do this. And you'll finally have a path to build for your goals and not on someone else's time, which is really nice. Now, guys, if you've been lying awake wondering what to do next, this is your invitation, okay? All you need to do is click the link in my bio or in the description down below and put your email in, watch a couple of videos, get your 10K and 30-day blueprint absolutely free, okay? And then you can make an informed decision as to whether or not this is the right opportunity for you. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you've enjoyed this. And Cooper, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but what I talk about is all 100% facts. If you want to have a conversation about this, by all means, message me. I'd be happy to help answer your questions. If you got questions right now, ask away. No? Okay. Well, guys, I hope that you guys have an awesome evening. I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed this and you've learned a little something. Until our next time, have a great evening. Take care.